What's up, bro? Welcome to a culture conversation. We're back in the HQ. I'm your host, Twingq. Before we get started with our episode today, we got a unique guest. Somebody hailing from the U.S. is doing a phenomenal work with the brand Overseas Fits, which is basically intersecting culture with storytelling and fashion. He's been able to create an online presence with his online community. And with no further ado, my man Kelvin. What's up with you, bro?
What's up, bro? Thank you for having me here, bro.
For sure. Long time
I
coming,
appreciate
man.
it, man.
Before we tap in, though, man, I want to check in with you, bro. I know it's been a minute, man. What's been new with you, bro?
Bro, it's been a lot. Just got back from the season. I played in Iran for half of the season.
Okay, that's what's up.
After the season, I was in Turkey for a little bit. Then I flew from Turkey. I was in Nigeria for probably like a week. Then I flew from Nigeria straight here. And then I know when I landed, we had to get this done.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been some time.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I know you've been, moving around doing a lot of stuff with the brand, bro. But, like I said, one of the things that I admire the most is, how you're able to transition. Obviously being a guy that played at a high level, D1 and stuff like that, and now building a community where you can kind of tell these stories in our culture is very big. So let's kind of get into that and talk a little bit about the Overseas Fits brand and the backstory or the origin story of like how that was created.
No, for sure. I feel like I just wanted to do it for overseas athletes that didn't really know what's next after basketball. So when COVID happened, I feel like Overseas Fits really took it to the next level because everybody was doing lives, everybody was supporting Black businesses, so people was buying stuff. And everybody just knew when everybody found out it was me, that was actually a hooper. I feel like everybody just started supporting, reposting and commenting. And so it took it to the next level. So that's why, like, to be honest, if it wasn't for COVID, I don't know if me and you would be talking like this, to be honest.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of like setting that up, like obviously when you started it, over the pandemic, you talked about the media presence, right? And, we talk about it being more or bigger than that, you know? So for somebody that's played at a respectable high level, like how important is it to kind of like tell those unsung hero stories?
Yeah. So when I just jumping back a little bit, just when I started it, like guys like Tu Holloway, Sean Armand, gave me Xavier Mumford, gave me a real understanding of like doing something like this, and it's of like telling their stories, telling other stories, telling my stories within other people's stories, because a lot of people, if you don't make an NBA or something like that, people usually don't know what you're doing. So, and then we didn't have no other platforms to really magnify that. So that's why Overseas Fits really probably took it to the next level for real.
Yeah, so obviously, you have a diversified like athletes there, and a lot of them are doing dope stuff. Like, how are you able to like identify like real stories? Like, what I mean? Let's just talk about women's sports for an example. We talk about like a lot of like the WNBA issues that we see in comparison to men's sports, right? So talk about like how you're able to kind of magnify the real stories within the athletes in the community.
There's a lot of different women that's actually playing basketball. You watch them like, yo, they're really good. Yeah. So like, and I tell people like, they're the SP 500. Women's sports is like SP 500. Mm-hmm. Like you really need to invest into women's sports. Yeah. So I think what really Plymouth Overseas Fits was really when we started implementing men and women. So people's like, wow, like you're doing a really good job implementing women as well. So I feel like the women came, and this is just as big as the men came, and that was like really, really big for us.
Yeah, and it's crazy because we look at when we look at sports in general, there's always that disparity where like men, obviously we play at a high level, so we understand like the perks of being a male athlete and what that comes with. But we've seen a new evolution with like women's sports in general. Like a couple weeks ago, I was in Vegas looking at the new league they have with Athletes Unlimited.
Got you.
And getting to chop it up with Tosh and a lot of these forward-thinking leaders.
Got you.
You're seeing a change now where people are tapped in.
Yeah.
So it's dope to see, because in the media side, like I think that's really important, right?
Yes, it is.
Look at like ESPN and a lot of these other companies, and they really focus a lot of their attention on male sports.
Yes, they do.
So
yes,
it's good that you're saying that you kind of created an atmosphere where you can kind of merge men and women's sports together.
Yeah, because you have to. Because I feel like if you don't, I mean, you're not really telling the correct story. You feel me? So I feel like when you really sitting there and telling these women's story, you could really sit back and like, yo, they have gone through a lot of the same things men have gone through. So that's when you put it out there. People now are woke with women's sports now. So I feel like that's again, that's why we have grown. We're growing because we are doing the groundwork to really get these stories for the women and putting it out there.
Okay. So you started Overseas Fits in the year 2019.
19.
Okay.
2019, yes.
Okay, so the idea just came to you randomly, or?
No, it didn't really come to me randomly. I feel like if people who truly knows me know I love fashion. So basically when I got injured at Iona College, me and Xavier King, we really probably locked in because like I was injured. Like, so he started I ended up helping him get a memory card, and he started helping me do documentaries at Iona. I was doing a lot of different things. I started doing fashion shows. I started doing modeling. I started really getting into it. So when I understood like, all right, what was next after basketball while I was still playing, I said, yo, let me create something. And I knew it had to be something within overseas because there wasn't a lot of avenues for overseas. So when I created Overseas Fits, I feel like it just took off.
Yeah, and talk about like, obviously when you're, known for like playing basketball and your identity shaped around the sport, like talk about that transition, because we see a lot of athletes. We probably know a lot of guys that, you know them for one thing their whole life, and then they're not doing it anymore. So how is it important for you to understand that like there is more to life than the sport?
And I feel like that, I know you're saying that, I feel like it's still hard because I'm a competitor at the end of the day. So now I have to be a competitor within this fashion, or telling somebody's story, or doing events like we have done. Like, so just like, okay, I'm a competitor, but still understanding it's still not basketball. But a lot of people still, like, you got to understand, a lot of us don't have resumes. We never worked a job. We've been playing basketball since we was kids. So now you're telling us, okay, you have to stop playing basketball one day. That's not easy. That's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing for real.
For real. So what do you think, like guys like yourself that are like, because I look at you as like a leader.
Yes.
You know? So being a leader within the community, what are ways you think you can kind of like alleviate that, like that period of like that dark cloud where it's like, okay, I'm not playing basketball anymore, but I could pick up the same skills that I learned in basketball and transcend it into a business setting, or to kickstart my career in something else.
I feel like I'm teaching people. I feel like people are watching. I'm teaching them like you can do it. Like, so when the off season is over, I'm over here styling. I'm over here making clothes. I'm over here showcasing. I'm doing events. I'm touchable. People could come contact me. I'm doing a lot of different things the world is seeing. Like, I'm doing different model sets. I'm showing them. You don't have to do. It's not one avenue. You can do multiple avenues. Yeah. So I know from people from afar, they probably say this guy is solid. Like, you feel me? And within me, they're helping me tell my story with their struggle, what they're doing well. Like, so it's a blessing. So like, if a person after basketball needs to do something, is a shoot. You just gotta figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
You just gotta figure out, like I'm doing right now, within the time. I feel like we have enough time while we overseas. People don't really take it. Like, you feel me? We go to practices and people be like, oh, I'm busy. 9 out of 10 times overseas, we just in the game, playing the game. It's mad hours. So within that time, you could find stuff you like. With me, it was like, shoot, I want to get into the fashion side. Like, I loved it. Like, I wanted to tell somebody's story, so I loved it. So I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. So I feel like you should fail a few times. You should fail a lot of times, not a few times, a lot of times. Then you'll figure out what you want to do next.
For sure. And I think it's important that we have these conversations, because in our culture, it's not really incentivized. You know what I mean? Like, we always talk about like what's popular, what's in, you know what I mean? But they don't want to talk about things that are going to help us move forward, right? So like I said, like us having this conversation, like I have friends that are in that transition now where they play basketball their whole life and now they got to work a job. Yes. Or now they are not seen as a basketball because they're not seen as being relevant figures. Right. So it's important for guys like us to do it and show and lead by example. Like, yo, hey, look, I still hoop, but I have a business. I have a podcast. I have an online community. I do pop-up events. I tell stories. You get what I'm saying? Because that's how we're going to push the culture forward, right? Like we always talk about representation in these spaces, but like we occupy these spaces, but we also can change the narrative.
Yes, we can.
Because when we look at the population, we look at the percentages, it's saying like we dominate professional sports and we dominate the entertainment industry.
Yes, we do.
But we got to kind of like create this new majority where like, yo, we can be multiverse people and multidimensional people as like athletes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and that's for sure. You didn't lie on that side. I feel like once we know who we are, I feel like you are not worrying about what's the next person doing. Just focus on what we are and understand who you are. I feel like we can take that next step.
Facts.
You feel me?
So in terms of like the evolution, like in the 3-year span since you started your company, what are some challenges that you kind of faced in terms of like whether it's like scaling or getting like exposure in the media world? Like talk about some of those challenges.
Nah, I ain't even going. Those was never my challenges because I feel like my ideas was really like thought out, and when people seen it, they just supported it. I feel like my challenges was not saying no. Because people would like your ideas and you're just like, okay, maybe you don't have enough money, so you don't want to hire this person or hire that person, and you just probably picking up this person. Not picking up this person, but like you're just hiring this person because they're like, okay, they understand. But sometimes them understanding is not the best for you and your company. So that's what I had to understand as well. So I just had to come to grasp and understand like maybe I have to start doing certain things alone. So when I did that, we grew more. Like it wasn't no challenges because it was just me versus me the whole time. So I loved that. Like I had to basically lock in every single day to really get to the next level. I couldn't be like, oh, I need your help this one. I need your help this. I didn't have that. It was just me. So now me having help and me having an assistant, me having people help me do certain things. Now I understand it because I was them. Like I did everything. So now me like, okay, we need this, that. It's like, okay, I'm telling you because I did it.
Yeah, so like learning now because you learned the system, because you went through it.
Yes.
It's easier for you to identify like strategies and stuff like that. So how big is your team now, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, we have six people now, like that's within us. Like we're transitioning to the women's side. We have 3 people that works with the women's side, then we have 3 people that work with the men's side now.
That's what's up. And like what's a typical day at the HQ for the Overseas Fits team, bro?
We go from Zoom calls. Or just people. We just go through the just texting. Like we go to texting, but asking it was like they throw ideas out there. Is either somebody say, yeah, I like that idea, or I don't like the idea, or we can tweak the idea. So I feel like as we have a lot of people, is okay to throw in their ideas, then we criticize them, and then we can actually get it out to people that will actually like it. Because we never know what was people like, yes or no, like at the end of the day. Like it's social media. So somebody may like this or somebody may not like that. You feel me? So we may think, oh, this is about to be fire, and then internet may not like it. So we have to learn that.
Yeah, so another thing that, and like I said, I really liked how you broke that down, but another thing I wanted to tap in with you is like that overseas lifestyle. Like obviously you've played overseas for a respected amount of years. So just kind of talk about like what that grind is really like, because there's a lot of misconceptions when we see the NBA and we see how their lifestyle is and it's so glorified. But like just talk about that overseas grind, man, and some of the misconceptions that people might have about playing overseas.
Yeah, a lot of people don't really truly understand like what you're really doing every day. Like you gotta go through management, not really understanding what you're going to your day to day. You got coaches just want you to be a player, like, and they don't understand you like what you're eating. They don't care what you're eating. They don't care what you're doing. Like, you feel me? They don't understand you just flew 19 hours or how many hours. They literally don't care about none of that. So if you're not coming there and actually performing, it's gonna be a tough time for you. So I feel like when you go in there and they're understanding you're there to do a job. Like, so I mean, it's gonna be tough times. Like, you feel me? Your Wi-Fi may be off, or the hotel. You may be living in the hotel for multiple months, or you may be having an apartment that don't got no Wi-Fi. You may not have no car. Like, it's mad stuff that's happening. People don't see. They just see all you overseas making money. You may be going over there for opportunity and not making that much money. So you feel me? So it may be is a large scale of things that you may be going through over there. You feel me? That like with me, it was like my first couple of years, I had friends that died, and I couldn't never fly back. You feel me? So, and you gotta understand, I got nieces and nephews as well. So I'm missing birthdays. They ask me every time I go on the FaceTime, when are you coming back, Uncle? So just little things like that. Like, I'm happy I don't have no kids yet, but just like, I mean, you're missing time that you never get. My nephew is about to be 10 years old now. You feel me? When I last seen him, like, he was a kid, like he's like a baby. Now he's a grown kid now. Yeah. You feel me? So now just that stuff you lose within playing overseas. You feel me? If you like, just say for instance, you don't make a shot, or you're scoring a lot and you're off that day, the people are going crazy. There's little stuff like that. Then you got to understand, after basketball, you still got a life. So you got now we talk about me. Now you got businesses. You got to do different things. So everything's just weighing on you. So is a lot of pros and cons within this.
Yeah, and I feel like, man, at the core of what you just talked about, man, like passion, bro. You gotta just love the game.
Gotta love the game.
If you don't love the game, then man, it's definitely gonna derail you from where you gotta go.
Yeah, for sure. That's why you put the extra work in the off season. Like, whether it show or not, or whether it do show, like, you still every single day, or when it's time for you to lock in, just lock in. So people may not understand what you go through and day in and day out, and it's okay. Like, I feel like I tell my team that all the time. It's okay. People don't need to go. Like, when it's time to show, or when people see, they're like, okay, they've been working. That's the only time you need to worry about what others think.
Yeah, for sure, man. And it seems like you've been doing an amazing job with that, and off-court building,
right.
What we're here to talk about now, in terms of now the evolution of overseas fits, right? Mm-hmm. Like, starting on the media side now, and now getting things like a clothing line,
right?
And, pop-up events, and
right.
now having like an ecosystem now where you're kind of vertically integrating a lot of things that you're doing. So just talk about what that process has been like now, when you started your company to where you're at now.
Yeah, I feel like with me, I feel like I just, like, when people said they just did it, like, I feel like that was me. Like, I just did it. Like, anything I pictured in my mind, I just did it. Like, when I did my first event in Houston, I just did it. Yeah. You feel me? Everybody's like, Everybody's like, damn, you really did this. I'm like, yeah, I did it. Then not knowing I was going to do Miami, and then did Miami and Rolling Loud weekend 3 weeks later, and then had a great turnaround. So while people was telling me, don't do it. You feel me? Oh, it's Rolling Loud weekend and this and that, and I end up doing it, and it was like a huge success, and it probably took us to another level because, again, we took an Instagram page to reality. Like, people just usually just be friendly on Instagram, but I mean, then when you come to it, like, everybody's just showing love. Like, cause I feel like when we did, like, overseas athletes needed it. They really don't have nothing to do in the off season. So now, like, this year, we have one coming up in June 11th. Then we have a few ones coming up in this June 2nd in Atlanta. Then we have July 9th in Vegas, and July 23rd in LA. So just trying to build that ecosystem for overseas athletes to really be able to do something in the off season is what is our niches right now.
Yeah. So obviously we spoke about it earlier in terms of, like, your vision with the brand, right, and the community and stuff like that. But if I was to ask you, like, where you see overseas fits,
right,
in comparison with, like, other communities,
right,
like, what would you say to me? Like, what makes overseas fits unique in a sense?
We versatile. Okay. We take people's stories and tell it for them. Sometimes people don't have that to do so. So then, while using the platform and the people that support us to let them be out there and put it out there for them, is something people are getting used to. Like, if something's happening to them, whether it's overseas, somebody's not getting paid, or they're getting treated bad overseas, we're the first outlet they're sending it to, so that we can help them out.
Yeah.
So that's how you know your community is getting strong. And so it's like it's like you're chopping wood, we're chopping wood, then I mean we just keep growing. Like you feel me? That's something I'm proud to be able to do for the people.
Yeah, and especially in our community,
You're right.
we could talk until daybreak about this.
Yes.
Like, how minorities and stuff like that, we don't really have representation in that space to kind of tell our own stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's kind of dope. Like I got a podcast, you're doing your stuff there on the media side as well, but for creating a space where there's more people like us telling our own stories, right? Like, and I feel like I mentioned before, it's not really incentivized because they don't know the value of our stories, they don't know culture, and they don't monetize off of it right away. So, we talk about exposure and ESPN and a lot of these forward media companies where they're going to talk more about LeBron because it's a clickbait. You know what I'm saying? So now when we're turning into talking about, the state of overseas basketball,
right.
What do you feel like, or how does it make you feel when somebody like Brittney Griner is still being held in a facility out in Russia?
The highlight is talking about but we should talk about her being held up for a month or a couple weeks before it even broke. That's deep. You feel me? So if that was LeBron or KD or Kyrie Irving, that 1 second they would have held them, it would have been all over the world. So just like this, we have to really do a better job in our ecosystem or our media to be able to protect the women the way we protect the men in this world. I hope Brittney Griner get back, and I'm definitely praying for her. And we post about her all the time, so people can really don't forget about her. Like we posted the other day, we know it's March Madness, but Brittney Griner is still held. That's big.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And what are your thoughts on obviously how the world ridden turmoil in Europe? What's your thoughts on that, and how do you empathize with a lot of the athletes that are still overseas?
Yeah, we can just talk about Ukraine. We can just talk about what just happened in Ukraine. You feel me? Russia coming in and doing what they did. And you could talk about people that was just making money and had their families in Russia had to leave Russia because it was a lot going on. Then so it's a lot. Let's jump back from last year. We had Israel and it was bombs. It was missiles and all that stuff going on. So it's always things going on. Even my first year, let's not stop by that. Even my first year, 3 years ago when I was in Iran, America came and killed the general. So it's things that happen. That is talked about, but we are there. So sometimes it can happen towards us. Something can bounce back and hit us at times. So we really have to understand, we are stronger as a community for real.
Nah, for sure. And I think that's big, man. Like I said, right, to create, a community that empathizes with each other, the last 3 years we had COVID, we had attacks. There's so much things that we're talking about.
Yes.
So it's, when you put it in those terms, man, and me being able to now understand, it's crazy what's going on, but you can get through craziness or chaos when you have a community.
I'm telling you, even even when we post certain things, the feedback we get when people are trying to help somebody. That's it. You feel me? I don't feel like no other platform has that. I'd rather that any day. When things are going well, they're behind you. When things are going bad, behind you. If anything, you need help, they help you. So building that is something I'm here for while I'm playing or if I say I'm done. I will continue to invest in that.
Yeah. So in terms of, obviously, and I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but post career, what does that look like for you and your next step? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
Okay.
Yeah, so whenever it's done, we're just gonna continue to take this to the next level. I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, that's what's up, man. So now I want to turn a little bit to fashion.
Okay.
We're gonna get a little bit into the fashion talk, obviously.
Okay.
We'll talk about some of your upcoming fashion events and stuff like that.
For sure.
Talk about a little bit of your clothing stuff.
No, definitely.
So, what are you designing right now in your collection for spring and summer?
Spring, summer is really, it's going to be a little different. We'll do a jean jacket. We'll probably do some shorts. We do some denims. We do some flare sweats. We're definitely gonna tell a story this year. Like we're gonna tell a story. Like I'm definitely in for that. Like I ain't gonna say too much, but I'm ready for this one.
Yeah, and like where do you, as a creator and a designer, like where do you draw like some of your inspiration from?
To be honest, my friends, or just like people. I look at other brands that nobody really talk about, and like just make me being able to have my own like infrastructure and my own ecosystem, and people will support. Like I could have been just like them. People may not, and I'm still like them in my head. I feel like people are still not supporting yet how we think or how we know it's going to happen. So I feel like that gives us the motivation to keep on pushing and put out dope pieces.
And do you think that's more because like it's not popular in their eyes, or they would rather support like a Nike? I always say like your friends' brands are as dope as these brands that we idolize.
Right.
But it's like in your mind, you're just programmed or conditioned to thinking, okay, because it's Nike, I'm gonna rock with Nike. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think with what I'm doing, I don't feel like it's that. I just feel like we just got to continue to showcase what we're doing, and then people's going to just support because we're definitely doing it in a high level. So just continue to do that, and then they'll turn around like how Telfair like they have turned around. You feel me? It's other Black businesses that's doing very well is turning around. You got guys like Xavier King, like Beyond Space, that has done from 2012, and now it's 10 years in. Like I mean, you still have like gaps you have to really go through to understand, for people to really understand if you're really serious with this. And I understand that. I never really fought the grind. Like I'm ready to grind, so it's fine.
Yeah, and in terms of like some of the designers you look up to, like is there a couple designers as you're kind of cultivating the ideas or pieces that you kind of look at too?
Bro, like I'm a big Jerry Lorenzo guy. I'm a big Virgil guy.
Okay, rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. You know, definitely rest in peace. Like he's definitely solid. He just did so many different things. Like he knew like he had to stay at one place. He kept on growing. So I definitely look at that. And you got guys like Don C. Like, you feel me? You got guys. You got a lot of different people. That Eric Emanuel. You got a lot of different people that do very well. And I definitely see it. And it's definitely what I want to do. Like other than storytell.
Yeah, so you see yourself as one of the next.
Yeah, no, I definitely could see that because like it takes time, and I'm ready to like build up to that. Like so, it's okay. Like I feel like while we're building the platform, I'm building who I am as a creator as well.
That's dope. And in terms of like collaborations and partnerships, like what's your process when it comes to identifying like if it's for real or they're just trying to get one off you?
To be honest, I'm not doing no collaborations right now.
Okay.
Like I'm in a space right now just to just focus on overseas fits.
I feel you.
Yeah, when we get there, I feel like when we get there, that's when we can help another person, or maybe if it makes sense to the brands both from my side and their side, then we can do it. But for right now, I feel like it's just 100% worried about overseas fits, trying to build our foundation, continue to build our foundation and infrastructure, and then we'll just go from how it goes after that.
Sounds good, man. Y'all tap in on the journey, overseas fits. I wanted to kind of take a little bit of a turn, talk a little bit about hoops, not too much.
No, for sure.
I know you're a Jersey guy.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel to see Kyrie Irving back on the floor as a full-time player?
Kyrie, that's my dog. Like in the sense of like his, I definitely can say that in the sense of the stand he took, and him not like backpedaling. So not even just talk about basketball, just talking about as a man. So just understanding like him not taking the vaccine and all that stuff, it was very big because a lot of people, I don't want to say they folded, but a lot of people they wasn't gonna lose money. They wasn't trying to lose money for a vaccine, and he said, "I don't care." So for him to do what he's doing now, he deserved that. 60s, the 40s, the 50s. Like Brooklyn Nets should win this year because of the stance he took and then didn't backpedal.
Yeah. What do you say? Like, obviously we know Kyrie is a outspoken athlete.
Yes.
I think he's one of the modern day athletes that really exercise athlete activism.
Right.
Like how important is that in professional sports?
Yeah, you talk about a guy that gave 1.5 to the WNBA. We just talk about investing in the WNBA. Yeah, he's seen it. You talk about a person who has a collab with Sue Bird. You talk about as a brother to Joel Lloyd. Like, so he does so much stuff for the women's sports, and he done fed a lot of different people. And you saw me, so he does what he needs to do, and is huge. We need that because if we don't have a person like that to stand and say, yes, we need to do this, like, I mean, like, a lot of people are not going to do that. A lot of people are scared to use their voice when you get to that level because it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And I see it. You feel me? I see it because a lot of people are ready to twist your words. But if you don't care and you know what you stand for, I mean, that's what he does know that. I mean, it's only up for him for sure.
And he's investing, obviously, being a Jersey guy, like renovating the St. Pat's gym
all the time.
And I think that the one thing that I respect about the way he operates is, like, at the end of the day, he makes a decision that he lives with. You know what I mean? And I feel like he gets vilified for it all the time.
Yeah, because you got to understand, it's people that don't really know themselves. We just get back to where I saw about in the beginning. If you don't truly know yourself, how can you really understand what he's trying to do? Yeah, it's not all about money all the time. I mean, I know you're doing your job, but he's showing you a way. And I mean, if you want to take it, cool. If you don't, hey, I mean, he's still going to do it. So, I mean, I respect that more because he's doing what he needs to do.
Absolutely. And I feel like he's inspiring people to kind of have an elevated perspective,
Yeah, be you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's your picks for the playoffs, man?
Playoffs? I told you Brooklyn Nets is going to win it.
Okay, so what you think Eastern Conference Finals is going to be?
Milwaukee Nets.
And then in the West?
I love Bron.
I know you're a Bron guy.
I love Bron, but Bron, you might be done up.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna do that to Bron. I'm gonna still give him a chance. I give Lakers and Phoenix.
Okay.
And whatever happens after that happens. But I give Lakers and Phoenix.
I feel you.
Yeah, I gotta give him respect.
All right, bro. We gonna tap into a quick hitter, something we do on the pod. Like rapid side fire chat where I'll say a question and you got to answer. So
no problem.
We're gonna start off with your top 5 or top 3 fashion designers or icons.
Icons. I'm gonna go icons now.
Just all time.
All time.
All time.
I'm gonna go Virgil for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go. To be honest, I'm gonna go Virgil. I want to go with my friends. Like, I mean, they icons in my eyes.
100%.
Xavier King is an icon in my eyes. I'm gonna give one more. Who's another person I'm gonna talk about. Sure, I'm gonna say myself. Okay. I'm an icon. You feel me? So I understand what I'm gonna bring to the table. So, is obviously Jerry's and the Dons and all that are them, but I feel like we're here to stay too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then your top 5 all-time overseas fit starting lineup. So it could be a mixture of men and women's, or we could go 5 men and then 5 women.
I could do 5 men and 5 women.
Okay, bet.
Okay, so men, I'm gonna go Xavier Muffin at the 1.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Eric Green at the 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 3. I will go Lamar Patterson.
Tough.
I will go 4. I will go 4. I will go. Who am I gonna go for 4? For 4, I'm gonna go Kyle Quinn. 5. I'm gonna go. Who's a big man? A 5. Who's a 5 in it overseas right now? I go Hassan Martin.
Okay.
It's my dog. I'll go for Hassan Martin.
If you was about to step out and you had an outfit you had to put on, so we're gonna start with, like, it could be a shirt, it could be some pants, some kicks. What's that like overseas fit fit look like?
For myself or just in general?
Going to the red carpet, what you throwing on?
I don't know. I may go. I may go. I don't know. I've been having some stuff on my thing. Like I may create something for myself. I ain't even gonna do that. I may create a. I don't know. What is it summer? Is it winter? Like spring? You gotta let me know.
Yeah. So I guess summer. What you putting on? You going to a star-studded event, red carpet.
I'll go suit, of course. Like I'll go tell a maid. Like I'll have it made up. So I don't know what. I probably like probably a peach or something like that. I don't know. Something different. Something that people know because I'm dark skinned.
I feel you.
Yeah, it'll be cool. Yeah, I don't know what type of shoes I'll probably rock some. I don't know, some Supremes or something like that. Supreme ones or something.
Yeah, it's crazy because I think yesterday was the 37th anniversary of the debut Jordan 1s. So I was about to say, like, what's your like top 5 Jordan 1s if you had to?
Oh yeah, some breads, of course. I'm a big Laney 1 person. Shatters. I'm trying to think what else I like. Those are like the probably the off-white ones, of course. Those are big ones I like for sure for ones.
All right, bro. And then last thing, I usually end off on a good note on the pod, man. Like, if you can give a message to your younger self, what do you think that message would reflect?
That's a good one. Just keep good people around you. Just keep good people around you. Always stay locked in on what you want to do, and never waver. Like, you feel me? Just never waver, because you definitely can do it.
Absolutely. You heard it from the man himself. So before we wrap up here, I want to give you an opportunity to tell our audience where they can follow up with a lot of the things that you got going on with the Overseas Fit stuff and your upcoming events. Yeah,
you can follow Overseas Fits. You can follow Overseas Fits, OVERSEAS, Fits, FITS. So you can, what else? It's really that on that and Twitter. We can see the events we have, and you can check our platform in the sense of what we post. You can see definitely the storytelling we do. I mean, it's definitely gonna be these few weeks. So we'll definitely have a lot of different things we'll put out there. So I'm happy I got to see this for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, bro, before we get out of here, man, like I said, from what I've seen you develop and, the things you've been working on for years upon years, bro, I'm giving you your flowers now, man. And, it's good to see the healthy transition, bro. Because, in our communities, there's not a lot of people that, uplift people on their journey. But, like, you've been an inspiration to not only me, but a community of people, in the athletics field and the entrepreneurship field as well, bro. So just keep going, man. Keep doing what you're doing and keep leading the culture in the right way, bro.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me, man.
You already
appreciate it, bro.
Yeah. So checking out another dope episode on A Culture Conversation. We'll be shooting up soon, and we'll be checking out. Peace.